Get your money, don't care who judge. Stay out the way, surround yourself with nothing but love. Stay out the way, if you a gangster, killer or thug. Stay out the way, put your faith in the man above. Stay out the way, chill with your family, siblings and blood. Stay out the way, kick it with your girl, forget hit in the club. Stay out the way, mind on your money, ain't no switching it up. Stay out the way, stand out the way, what you thought that it was. Stay out the way. If you stuck down on your luck, not feeling righteous, did a petty crime, just looking for some excitement. Now your name on affidavits and court indictments, get paid for a lot, but your freedom is priceless. You did the crime, you do the time, don't let it surprise you. Real stories from the heart, just to open your eyes up.
Part 2 gang, y'all, let's get it, y'all. Part 2 gang, y'all, let's get it. Like, share, subscribe, y'all. Let's get it. Let's go. Man, that jump was crazy, man. Bro came to the door and said, I had to flush that zip, Weezy. I said, what? He said, man, I had to flush it, man. His roommate was like, man, I mean, we didn't think they was gonna run down on us. You know what I mean? Bro was like, man, I had the whole zip out, taking out my feezies, bro. He was like, I'm about to take out the feezy to roll up. He said, man, people hit the police noise, the man coming straight my direction. I told my roommate, if he come close to this joint, let me know, I'm gonna flush it. You know what I mean? So his roommate was at the door. So he said his roommate was like, he getting closer, he getting closer. He said, I was like, man, is he watching you? He was like, yeah, he looking at me. He said, man, next thing you know, our door was opening up. He said, as soon as our door opened up, he said, I dropped it in the toilet, flushed it. You know what I mean? I was like, oh. I said, the whole joint, bro? He was like, yeah. I was like, man. I said, bro, what's going on? Why they blitz the joint? What was going on? He was like, I don't know. I said, bro, I seen the African dude, bro, the CO dude. When he counted, he walked by my cell and acted like he was smelling something, bro. He was sniffing. He was doing all of that. What was like, for real? I was like, man, he was like, man, that's crazy. He was like, what did you want me to do? Get knocked with the jump Weezy? I was like, nah, I ain't want you to get knocked. And I'm just like, how bad is our luck? How bad is our luck, bro, that you had to flush that zip? You know what I mean? He was like, no, bro, that's crazy, man. I was like, man, I was mad, man. Like, I had to go sit down, man. Like, I just went and sat at the little table right there. I'm like, shh. He came and sat next to me. He was like, man, I can't believe this, Weezy, man. I don't believe this. I was like, bro, man. As we sitting there, I just seen Bryce coming down the steps like this. Bryce was coming down the steps like this. Bryce was like, he walked over there where we was at. He put his feet on the bench. He didn't even sit down. He put his feet on the little bench. He was like over top of us, slightly paused. He was like, what's going on? Y'all good? Everybody good? Everybody good? I was like, shh. He was like, what? I was like, man. I said, man, I had told bro to hold the joint till we come back out. Cause I didn't want to hold all that junk, bro. You know what I mean? While we was in lockdown like that, I was like, we was gonna bag up together. Like, I ain't want to hold, you know what I mean? Let bro hold it down. You know what I mean? He was like, what? He was like, so what happened? They shook your cell down. What happened? They ain't fine? He was like, nah, they ain't fine. He was like, well, that's good then. That's good news then. Why you looking crazy, Weezy? I was like, nah, man. Reese, I was like, nah. Reese, tell him what else. Reese was like, man, like, it was coming straight towards my door. I didn't know what else to do. He said, I had to zip out. The zip was already on the table and everything. He said, man, I had to flush it. I had to flush it, man. This word. Dude, Bryce said, what? You had to what? Man, man, y'all in the way, man. Y'all was like, what? Oh, bro, calm down, bro. I was like, listen, bro, what you wanted the man to do to get knocked with the joint? Knock your head to you, Weezy? I said, bro, you gave it to both of us, bro. He was like, nah, but I'm saying it wasn't your responsibility. I said, bro, listen, look, bro, what you want me to do, bro? The jump gone, bro. Like, I mean, it didn't supposed to happen that way, but it happened, bro. Like right now, bro, we just making a scene out here for nothing. That's what we doing right now, Bryce. He was like, man, look, it ain't about the scene, bro. It's about the money, man. He was like, every time I deal with some dudes from Norfolk, it's always some BS, man. It's always bad business. It's always some hating. It's always this. It's always that. So he all loud with the joint. So I said, yo, bro, listen, bro. You need to calm down, bro. I said, look, bro, I'm going to pay you $250, bro. You ain't got to worry about that, man. Reese was like, yeah, bro, we going to pay you, bro. Like, calm down, bro. Calm down. We going to pay your money, man. He was like, man, it ain't about the money, man. It ain't about the money. I'm just tired of this, man. I'm just tired of this, bro. Like, real talk. That's your fault, Weezy, man. That's your fault, bro. Like, that's your fault. I'm like, shh. Like, man, all right, bro. I'm going to pay you, bro. What you want me to do? He was like, man, nah, that junk crazy, man. That junk crazy. He walked away from us and went to go stand over there by the Richmond dude, the dude top. So you can see him, like, he's venting. Like, I can't hear what he's saying, but you can see in his movements that he's venting about us. He's He's snapping. The dude talk. All you see is this gold like, for real. All you see is gold gleaming. You know what I mean? I'm like, he done went over there and told bro about us, man. I'm like, man, this word Reese was like, man, I'm ready to buck on him, bro. I don't know who he think he talking to, Weezy. He tripping. I'm ready to buck. I'm like, nah, we ain't buck, bro. That's bad business. We was in our responsibility. If somebody would have flushed our zip, you already know what we would want. You know what I mean? I was like, nah, we gonna pay him, man. You know what I mean? We gonna pay him, bro. You know what I mean? That's just that. That's just that, bro. I'm gonna get, you know what I mean? I said, bro, we gotta just pay the dude, bro. You know what I mean? He was like, man, that's crazy though. But he like it was our fault. I said, no, I don't want nobody's fault. It wasn't nobody's fault, bro. But like, what could we do? What could we do, man? You know what I mean? He was like, shh, that's crazy, man. So, you know what I mean? Me and bro just sat at the table looking crazy for a minute. Like, you know what I mean? We looking stupid. It's called lunch. So we get ready to go to lunch. We walking to lunch. You know what I mean? Ever since like we had got with bro, since we started talking, like, bro, you know what I mean? We all go to lunch together. Like, I see bro ain't want to come to lunch with us. You know what I mean? He ended up walking with the dude top. You know what I mean? So he walking with the dude top. So I'm like, this y'all crazy, man. So I'm like, man, I'm just telling bro, like, you know what, bro? Let's just pay dude his money, man, and just move on from this nightmare. I was like, but see, that's why I don't like doing stuff like this, bro. I said, if that was our pack that we had got and we had to flush it, it just would have been our pack. I said, now that we got something from somebody and like, you know, people think they can just talk to you any type of way. You know what I mean? I'm like, look, we're going to pay dude his money. You know what I mean? But I was like, I'm going to straighten him though when I pay him his money though, man. Because like, it's for real being from Norfolk or not, you got to have better communication skills, my guy. So boom. That you talking to, man. Like, he just don't know you dealing with a maniac. And Reese was a maniac. So like, I won't try to be on it like that. You know, bro from the way. You know, he has a reason to be mad. But at the end of the day, bro, like, come on, bro. What do you want us to do? They ran down on my bro. Like, what do you want him to do? Get tore off with the jank? He lived to see another day. That's what he had supposed to done, man. So I said like 3 days later, the whole time bro ain't said nothing to us. He's not even looking our way. He's not coming around us. He's not speaking. And I feel good about that. I feel cool about that, man. You know what? But I was like, you know what? Me and him gonna have a conversation when I bring him his money. You know what I mean? I was like, when I bring him his money, we're gonna have a conversation. So I told bro, I said, look, I got a few dollars put up, man. I said, I'm gonna get my peoples to put up too. I said, let's get $50 for your peoples. Cause bro will always get $50 to score or something like that. You know what I mean? Like he'll always, his peoples are selling $50 to do something, or Western Union, anybody $50 or whatever the case. So I said, bro, I'm gonna pay the joint. You know what I mean? I'm gonna pay the 2, you put up the 50, bro. This is what we, you know what I mean? He was like, all right, that's a bet. So the bro finally got his 50. I already had mine. So, you know, all he got to do is go to the Western Union, tell his people to go to Western Union and make that happen. So I was like, I'm going to go holler at him. So I went up the steps. You know what I mean? I went up the steps. Went to go see what he was doing. Got up the steps, hit the corner, went to his cell, knocked at the door. Somebody said, yo! It was like a different voice. I'm like, yo? I was like, what Bryce at? I thought it was going to be his roommate to come to the door. I looked, all I seen was some gold teams. I was like Master P coming to the door back in the day. I was like, oh, it was the dude top. I'm like, oh. I was like, hey, Bryce said. He was like, oh, hey, Bryce, somebody at the door for you, Sean. Bryce came up, he got up. I looked, when he got up, that's when I kind of looked in the cell and I seen there was 2 other Richmond dudes in there. You know what I mean? So I'm like, shh, just waiting. So he come out, he got his door jammed, he come out. He's still in the tail. I was like, yo, here, bro. He was like, what's that? I said, bro, that's the information for Western Union. I said, look, one on 50, one on $200 there. I was like, oh, you gotta tell your people to go get it. I said, with the jump there. He was like, oh, all right. I was like, look, bro, I ain't want that. You know what I mean? Like, bro, it's like the jump hasn't even left yet. I said, it's like it's never been lost. I said, because what we do, we paid the money, right? So I said, it ain't about what happened or how it happened or whatever the case. I said, ain't no need for us to go back and forth about that. I said, I'm trying to go forward. You know what I mean? I said, so us going forward, bro, you see, like we paid the $250. You know what I mean? It wasn't a loss on your end, even though it happened. I said, bro, let us get one plate, bro. That's all we need is a zipper piece. Let us get a zipper piece. You ain't got to worry about us no more, bro. You know what I mean? He was like, nah, I can't do that, Weez. I was like, what? He was like, nah, I can't do that. I was like, what you mean you can't do that? He was like, cuz, bro, I'm just, you know what I mean? I'm just staying Dolo for right now, bro. I'm just staying Dolo. I was like, what? He was like, yo, I'm just staying Dolo, man. Like, bro, I don't got to run with dudes from Norfolk, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Every time I do, it's always something, you know what I mean? So I was like, so what you saying? You want to be Dolo? That's what you're saying? He was like, I want to be Dolo, like, you know what I mean? I was like, how you want to be Dolo when you in there hanging with the Richmond mom? You know what I mean? I ain't wanna bring up a geographical situation to him like that, but it was just like, bro, what are you doing, bro? Like, we didn't really do that. We paid everything straight. I'm not a lame. My man is not a lame. Bro, what are you doing, my guy? So boom. But I saw it in his eyes that he was serious, y'all. I saw it. I saw that this man really was meaning what he said, man. I'm not messing with y'all like that. So I'm like, bro, even with us paying and doing all this, bro, I said, bro, you made all that noise out there in the pod, bro. I said, first of all, what you gotta understand, bro, I said, you talking to two real dudes, bro. I said, my homeboy Reese, bro, I said, both of us real dudes, bro. Like, we ain't on no simp, no peon type of activity, bro. We ain't on none of that type of activity. I said, bro, you see, I came and straightened the money out, bro, before the week was out. He was like, and I appreciate that, but I ain't rocking with y'all, bro. I just rather be Dolo, bro. I just rather be Dolo. I'm like, so you like you saying like you're not even gonna deal with us, period. Like not even on no conversation level or nothing. He was like, nah. I just rather be Dolo. I'm like, shh, this word, man. Like I was feeling a little crazy about it. You know what I mean? I was feeling a little crazy about it. I'm like, all right, bro, that's what's up, bro. Do what you do. I leave, go down the steps. I see Reese standing by his door. He was like, you paid that clown? I was like, yeah, I paid him, bro. I said, guess what this man said? He was like, what? We can get back in the car, da, da, da. I was like, nah, he didn't say that. He said, what'd he say? I said, man, this man said he's not rocking with us no more, bro. I said, man, this man said he'd rather be Dolo. He was like, what do you mean he ain't rocking with us no more? He don't even want to pay the money. We can't do nothing. We can't buy a zip. We can't do nothing. I was like, bro, the man said every time he deal with Norfolk dudes, it's always some BS. He was like, he's not dealing with us no more, bro. That's what he said. He was like, and you gave him that money. See, I told you buck on him, Weezy. I told you buck. I was like, bro, I wasn't trying to buck on a dude from the town. He was like, he ain't rocking with us. He ain't from the town. I was like, bro, I get it. I said, what you want me to do, bro? I said, I wanted to pay my debt. I don't like owing people, bro. I said, but that ain't the kicker. He's like, what's the kicker? I said, guess who he in the cell with right now? He was like, who? I said, the Richmond mob. He in there with Top and his homeboys. He was like, what? What they doing in there? I was like, I don't know, bro. I said, they probably in there messing with the Lala. I don't know what they doing. He was like, shh. He was like, man, see, that's why I wanted to buck these, man. These dudes lame. I was like, man. I said, bro, say he wanted to be Dolo. So as we standing there, like, I see him come down the stairs with the Richmond dudes. So I'm like, we look, he coming down the stairs with the Richmond dudes. So Reese, I guess Reese was feeling some type of way about it. So Reese was like, hey, Bryce, let me holler at you right quick, So he came with it. He was like, walked over there. He was like, what's up? But his what's up was kind of like, you know what I mean? I didn't like the what's up. He was like, what's up? I was like, what you mean, bro? Calm down, bro. Like, it ain't like that, bro. He was like, no, it was good. So Reese was like, hey, look, man, it's like that, bro. Like, you just throwing dudes away, bro. Like, that's what you're doing. He was like, man, listen, man, I'd rather be Dolo, bro. I ain't rocking with dudes, man. He was like, man, but you rocking with the Richmond mob? He was like, man, listen, you can't tell me who to do business with. That's what you can't tell me about. That's you know for dude's problem. I'm like, yo, the way dude was acting, the way dude was talking, man, I was like, man, this clown straight out of comic book, y'all. So boom. I was ready to tell him like South Central. I was about to hit him like when Bobby Johnson said he wanted out of the Hoover Deuce. I was about to hit him like dude in the prison, like, you got it. You know what? But don't come running to us when the Richmond mob try to punk you and you know what I mean? Like, I was ready to hit him with that junk, man. I was like, you know what, man, let bro have that, man. You know what I mean? Let bro have that junk, man. I was like, you got it, man. He was like, all right. You know what I mean? He walked away, man. I was looking like, dang, man, like this junk is wild. You know what I mean? Like, this man really cut us off. Like, he really cut us off. I can't believe this shit. He really cut us off. So I'm like, this shit crazy, man. Like, you know, it is what it is. Like, a week go by, he ended up striking again. So this how I knew he ended up striking. When he struck, first person come holler at me. I'm talking about the very first person to come holler at me was the dude Top. Now, I think Top did this to kind of show that, like, yeah, look, we see what we did, man. We didn't got a dude from Norfolk. I'm getting money with a dude. It wasn't like a smear campaign, what he did, but he wanted us to know what was going on. He pulled up to me. He was like, hey, you trying to buy some spoons? I was like, some spoons? You got some spoons? He was like, yeah, I got some spoons. I got the same thing your homeboy got. I was like, who my homeboy? He was like, Bryce. He just stopped. I was like, oh, he got some la-la? He was like, yeah, he got some la-la. We got some la-la. I was like, oh, all right, that's what's up. He was like, let me know if you want some spoons, Shaw. I was like, all right. He walked away. I'm like, man, he tried to come rub that in our face, pause. Like, he wanted us to know that he got a bro from the town, you know what I mean, and get him to work. So I'm like, this junk crazy, man. So like, I just felt real crazy about this whole thing. Like, it was all type of stuff going through my mind. Like, I'm not even on no robbing type stuff, y'all. I'm not on no robbing type stuff, man. But I promise you, I was thinking about going in his cell, taking everything, and see if they really deal with him, man. See if they're gonna really take up for somebody from Norfolk, getting beat up from somebody from Norfolk. Like, we wanted to see if they really was gonna do that. Like, but I didn't have no problem with the Richmond mob. You know what I mean? I didn't want to pump no energy, and I didn't want to be a dude that's messing up somebody else's bag. Like, it's not written in stone that just because you're from this city that you got to do business with the city. Like, you can move around. So what bro was doing was politically correct, but at the end of the day, man, me and bro didn't like what he was doing. We ain't like that stuff, man, but we had to live with it because it was his. So I told myself, I said, you know what, man, I gotta holler at my man that's in one building. I was like, I'm gonna holler at Rudy too. So Rudy was in one building around this time. You know what I mean? So I'm like, man, I'm gonna holler because I know they know him. You know what I mean? Like, because, you know, people from your building know you. So I'm like, man, you know, he was one of them dudes from Norfolk that, like, you know, I didn't know him like that. You know what I mean? Nobody really knew him like that. He was, like, really on the low. He wasn't like a flamboyant dude from the town, known from the town. He wasn't on it like that. He was from Norfolk, though. So I was like, I'm going to go outside and find out who this dude is. So when I went outside, first person I saw was the dude, Rudy. Rudy was balling. I said, bro, holler at me when you finish, because I was on the big yard. They was on the court way down there. So after he balled, he came to the gate. I'm like, hey, look. I said, bro, you know the dude, Bryce? He was like, I was like, Bryce. He was like, oh, yeah, from Norfolk. I'm like, yeah. He was like, you all right with him? I'm like, bro, the man came down there and got mad. I said, bro, about a situation, long story. I said, I can't even string this over the fence. I said, but long story short, we straightened the situation. The man said he don't want to deal with us no more. He'd rather be Dolo. He don't want to deal with them Norfolk dudes. So Rudy was like, what? He said that? I'm like, yeah, he said that, bro. He was like, you know the old head Norfolk dude was hating on him though, right? For real though. I was like, I ain't got nothing to do with that though, bro. Like, you know what I mean? He was like, yeah, I feel you. I was like, what's up with dude though? His dude, like, he was like, I mean, he just do him. Like, he just one of them dudes that do him. You know what I mean? Like, he was like, don't nobody be bothering him because he keep the work. So I'm like, that jump crazy, man. I'm like, man, all right, man. You know what I mean? So Rudy told me that. You know what I mean? I'm like, you know, what I get from that is that, you know, dude a loner. You know what I mean? I can relate to being a loner. I can relate to being crossed, backstabbed from your city, man. But I still dealt with the city, though. You know what I mean? Like, I still dealt with people where I'm from. Like, I felt like that was just the right thing to do. How can I not deal with the people where I'm from, y'all? So boom. So I went back in the pod, man. I told Reese, man. Reese was like, man, for real though, man, we should go up there and take everything he got, man. Like, let's just go take it. Reese and I'm like, bro, nah. For what, bro? I said, we can show everybody that we on real hater mode, bro. I'm like, nah, bro. It ain't, you know what I mean? It ain't that serious, bro. Like, he a grown man. He can do whatever he want. He can deal with whatever who he want to. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. So Reese was like, man, you right, man. Like, but still, though, I just, like, he a lame, though. And like, from that day on, I just was seeing his movements and his movements, like, you know, you can do what you want to do, like I said, but like, he was running around with the Richmond mob. It just didn't look right. It didn't look right. It didn't sit right with me at all. You know what I mean? It didn't sit right with me at all. And like, I didn't like it, man. I didn't like seeing that junk, man. But like, you know, I'm in a pod where I have to witness somebody from my town hanging with another town crazy. And like, you don't really see that like that. You see it every blue moon. You don't see it like that. You know what I mean? So the dude Top, he became the winner in the pod. You know what I mean? He became the winner in the pod. He's selling weight. He's doing everything. So Top was getting to that bag, and then out of nowhere, they came and told Top that he was getting transferred. And I didn't know he was getting transferred until the old head that sleep downstairs in cell 1 had told me. Now, I came out late. I didn't go to breakfast. You know what I mean? I came out like right before they was going to call lunch. So when I finally stepped out of my cell and came down the steps, I seen the old head dude at cell 1 right there. And he was like, yeah, they about to do some transfers. He was like, dude's getting transferred tomorrow. They packed up 2 people in here. I was like, for real? What they packed up? He was like, man, they packed up the old head that's sleeping 44. And he was like, they packed up Top. I was like, they packed up Top? He was like, yeah, they packed up Top. So I'm like, man, that junk crazy. When he say that, I look up, I see he upstairs, him, his 2 Richmond homeboys, they upstairs talking to bro. You know what I mean? So I guess from what I took from it, I'm thinking they in there, I'm thinking they at his door, basically talking to him about, yo, look, like, just holler at, work with my people, just like, you know what I mean? He was working with me, da. So I see Bryce over there kind of like taking the information, you know what I mean? He listening to what they saying. They telling him like, yeah, look, da. That's what I think he doing. So they end up shipping Top. Top got shipped to a level 3. His level ended up dropping, so he's gone. You know what I mean? So when he left, like, the play, I guess the play was coming up again for bro to get to play again. You know what I mean? Because he usually would get it like on Tuesdays, Mondays, and stuff like that. So when bro left, it was like a few days went by, and then next thing you know, the Richmond mob popped up with the la again. They had it again. They had the spoons, they had the feezies, they had everything. You know what I mean? So like, as I was saying that, like, I had a rapport with Top slightly. If I was really like one of the feezy or some weight that bad, and yeah. And I didn't bite on the first play when he came to me the first time to see if I wanted to get some. So I'm like, man, now that Top gone, I'm like, man, I'm telling Reese, I'm like, bro, like, we might gotta holler at the land, bro. He was like, man, I don't deal with none of them Richmond dudes either. I was like, bro, I'm just gonna holler, you know what I mean? I was like, I'm gonna get to the dust settle, and I'm gonna go upstairs and go holler at them to see, you know what I mean, if I can get something, you know what I mean? He was like, what you trying to do? I was like, bro, you got that 50, get 50 again? He was like, yeah, I was like, I'm gonna see if we can spend $100 then, cause I'm gonna get 50. So he was like, see what's good, see what's good. So, so I waited, chill for a minute, wait to the COD round. You know what I mean? After COD round, I made my way up the steps. You know what I mean? I went up the steps, went to his cell, knocked on the door. Yo! Ain't nobody say nothing. I'm like, yo! When I look, I seen him like laying in the bed. Like he was laying with his face to the wall. You know what I mean? He laying to his face to the wall. I'm like, yo, Bryce. He turned around. He was like, that man had his hands like this. You know when you sleep with use your two hands as a pillow? He was sleeping like that. He was like, turned over. He was like, yo. I was like, hey, bro, what's up, bro? I was like, come to the door. He was like, what's good? Weezy? I was like, man, look, I'm trying to cop. What's up, man? You tell me you ain't rocking with us, bro. We doing business, bro. I'm trying to cop, bro. I got $100, bro. What's up? He was like, you gotta haul that Taz. We gonna call a dude from Richmond Taz. He was like, you gotta haul that Taz. I'm like, Taz? I'm like, what do you mean I gotta holler at Taz? I'm hollering at you, bro. I'm trying to spend my money with you, man. What's good? He was like, well, I ain't got nothing, bro. I was like, you ain't got nothing? He was like, nah. I was like, what you got? You ain't got nothing? You ain't got fizz? You ain't got nothing? He was like, nah. I was like, bro, what you mean you ain't got nothing, bro? He was like, I ain't got nothing, Weezy. I'm like, bro, shh. Man. So I shoot down. I leave. He wow. I leave. Bro, Reese was like, what's up? I'm like, I don't know what he talking about. As I'm walking over this way, I see another little young boy that I rock with from Petersburg. He talking to one of the dudes from Richmond. He walk up. He like, hey, you ain't gonna believe this. I'm like, what? He was like, say word, the Richmond dudes went in there and took all bro stuff. I'm like, what do you mean all this stuff? Well, he was like, well, not all this stuff, but they took the work. I'm like, they took the work. He was like, yeah. I'm like, you talking about Bryce? He was like, yeah, man, your homeboy, man, they went in there and took his pot.
Get your money, don't care who judge. Stay out the way, surround yourself with nothing but love. Stay out the way if you a gangster, killer or thug. Stay out the way, put your faith in the man above. Stay out the way, chill with your family, siblings and blood. Stay out the way, kick it with your girl, forget hit in the club. Stay out the way, mind on your money, ain't no switching it up. Stay out the way, stand out the way, what you thought that it was. Stay out the way. If you stuck down on your luck, not feeling righteous, did a petty crime, just looking for some excitement. Now your name on affidavits and court indictments, get paid for a lot, but your freedom is priceless. You did the crime, you do the time, don't let it surprise you. Real stories from the heart, just to open your eyes up.